If everything in life starts with a thought, what is the thinking that we as a collective of individuals need to consider so that we can live the life we want and dream about, leaving behind a world better off than when we entered it?
Reflection is necessary when you run any business. Throughout our 30-year history, reflection has been what has sustained our continued success, and it will remain an important part of how we do business. In reflection, we studied the trends and algorithms of our own business, and we've learned a great deal that is adding incredible value to our business, our brokers, and the clients we serve. In learning those lessons, we asked ourselves a few questions. What do we need to do differently? What do we need to do the same? And what do we have to create in order to build a future-fit business that engages with the financial services industry, one that is a valuable contributor to the South African economy, and leads with our human capital and our clients at the center of it all?
Last year with our Broker Summit, we did some research to understand what are the risks that affect brokers and their business, as well as the sustainability thereof. And what we identified is that leadership development is part of the top 3 risks that affect their business.
If you want to cause sustainable change in yourself and in this world, what's required is to change the relationship you have to yourself. Consider that your outer reality mirrors your inner reality, and it is only when we truly change our inner reality that our outer reality can truly change on a sustainable level. And that's why I resonate so strongly with the well-being economy, which speaks to the fundamental shift from the growth economy, which is what we have today, which is always about excess and more and more. And the well-being economy is saying, wait a minute, whilst growth is important and necessary, it can't be the primary focus any longer if we are going to live in a world that's sustainable for generations to come. If you look at the heart of leadership development, often you can link it very much to personal mastery.
So we work with a number of different tools at MUA that takes care of the well-being of our staff, from insights discovery to Enneagram. Insights Discovery is a platform we're using to create a common language in our business and also to help our broker consultants to relate better and collaborate in serving the needs of our clients.
The thought that if I win, the broker wins and the client wins is very much the approach we take at work and also in our personal lives. The well-being of our human capital is the well-being of our economy.
How do you see being authentic and being yourself as instrumental in causing the shifts that we need to make?
I think showing a bit of yourself, showing a bit of your uniqueness speaks to the mantra that MUA has been living out for the last 30 years. It's ensuring the individual. We have a heart for the individual, understanding the individual and knowing that people are different.
The executive and leadership team at MUA and Lurius Holdings are focused on the well-being of our economy and wanting to find ways to influence, create opportunity, and partner with like-minded institutions, individuals, and business who share our thinking and our values in wanting to make our country great again. We want to contribute and create a tipping point of positive change that impacts insurance clients and the growth of our economy.
We need to move from being a transactional, sales-focused industry to a client-centric industry where we focused on the well-being of our clients.
So oftentimes we are told to be selfless. And I differ with that view. I think we should be self-full, because it is when we are full that we give of ourselves. When you take care of yourself, you have the full ability to take care of others. This is what the well-being economy is about, taking care of others for the better good. So as soon as you understand what drives you, what limits you, you become a better leader in that you have clarity on what could self-limit someone else, and you could coach them out of it. But the power is into understanding yourself. It makes it much more easier for you to have compassion as opposed to judgment when you're dealing with your team members, which unlocks their creativity, which unlocks their innovation and intelligence. So coaching techniques are critical for leaders today.
Coming from a traditional approach, something like investing time in yourself seems to be counterintuitive. It seems to be counterproductive. It's not what our shareholders expect of us. It's the opposite. It's actually spending more time on work and work-related matters. So it's getting past that mind shift or that mindset of being on 24/7 for your stakeholders or your shareholders, but spending some time for yourself.
We invest in people. We don't invest in fancy business plans.
We've got an organisation in South Africa that's purely dedicated to mindfulness practices, mindfulness being, education, and is really focused and driven around how do we make this the norm.
Because mindfulness per se is not something that you give people. It's actually who people are. You know, our being and our awareness is not something we have. It's not something we own. It's not something that you, Michelle, are mindful and Joe Bloggs is not mindful. It's so inherent to the human condition. But it's overlooked, it's not considered relevant or significant, and certainly not considered as a skill that can be cultivated and refined and applied. And I think anybody who genuinely cares about the human condition is always called to make impact. An impact that is beyond our own personal needs. How can I cultivate this? How can I practice? And I think that's where IMISA has a role. All my 2,500 employees have to go and practice mindfulness. That wouldn't be helpful. How they showed up, how they would transform, that would be serious trickle-down economics. It feels like every year the need for that becomes more and more urgent. That's the zeitgeist in South Africa. I am staggered by just the stuff that comes out of leaders' mouths, political and business leaders. It's either very intellectually astute around a particular area, but is so limited in its largeness of perspective and what are the deeper levels and layers that are influencing the entropy. We've become particularly interested in what is known as a contemporary mindfulness approach, which is to use the ancient wisdom traditions out of which mindfulness arose in a new context and in a way which is accessible. Essentially what this is wisdom. It's wisdom packaged in a way that is accessible. You cannot control the quality of the soil, but you can continue to drop seeds. And you can teach people to till the soil. That is their choice.
We see examples of the generative economy in how family-owned businesses and family foundations have been established and structured in this manner, and appreciate their conscious efforts to grow our country in this manner. We're inspired by their choices and certainly learn from their leadership.
In 2015, I left corporate and I opened my businesses. And ever since, I've gone through the process of self-awareness and self-mastery and found who I really am and accepted both the positive and the negative of who I am. I have found my purpose.
If there's a message that I would have to say, it's if you're looking for real sustainable change, change here. Change here first, and then you'll notice the change out there. And keep paying attention to the outer reality. Notice your team's interaction with you. Notice your company's interaction. What is that saying about the kinds of changes that you need to make?
We are shooting this campaign to put a face, a voice, a thought, and an approach on paper that we believe demonstrates our care and our commitment not only to the industry, but also to our clients. We believe that this is the start of collaborative partnerships, win-win solutions, and above all, create a tipping point for more joy, laughter, and happiness. For more information on the well-being and generative economy, visit www.mua.co.za.